Welcome to Camp Cookout Adventures. Join me for a second night out on Sheep's Tour in Dartmoor. We continue our adventure from the first time we were out here on the riverside walk in the arboretum. We found the decked area, which I missed in the first part, and I'm just exploring it here with my good friend Dan. We're going to have a camp up on the tour like we did last time, overlooking the beautiful reservoir. I've got an Asian hot pot inspired menu for tonight's camp. It's going to be fantastic. Come along.
It's Camp Cookout Adventures. It's Camp Cookout Adventures.
You join us back at Burrator Reservoir area. We've already had a night's camp up here before, way up there on Sheep's Tor, which is such a great spot because it overlooks all of the reservoir down below and all this forested valley. It's really beautiful. So from the car park, we're going to cover the other side where we haven't done before in the previous video. This is more the arboretum side. We've already found a little decked area which goes along the riverside, which is really pretty, and we're super lucky with weather today. Down in mid-Cornwall where I'm from, it is pea soup. You cannot see anything. I checked the Met Office's weather forecast and miraculously it said it was clear up here on Dartmoor, and it is. We've got some clear skies, you can see a little bit of blue. It's not raining and windy and all the rest of it, so we're going to make the most of tonight, have ourselves a little adventure. Feels wonderful getting back up on Dartmoor again. I love this place. The wooded areas of Dartmoor are just absolutely sensational. We're joined once again by my good friend Dan at the YouTube channel Approachable Active. Unfortunately for him, we got to take it really easy this time regarding exploring and mooching about and hiking, because the poor chap has slipped and broken one of the bones in his foot. So he's all hobbled up with a Aldi bag wrapped over his foot and a brace, so he's taking it very slow and steady. But this is a nice easy location to have a night's camp, and he was determined he wanted to try out his new heavy duty Arctic rated sleeping bag in freezing conditions, and it's supposed to get down to around -2 tonight, so it'd be perfect for him to test that out. We've had some pretty nasty storms recently, very high winds and all the rest of it, as you'd expect over winter. I just spotted something that I want you guys to check out. This tremendously big, large tree that's obviously uprooted itself, but look at the lack of root system on it for something of its size. Normally you would have like a core root that goes straight the way down, which helps anchor the thing, but I'm absolutely amazed that a tree that size has just got such a minimal root system. You see underneath it, look, it grew straight on top of one of these boulders. It's very, very shallow root system anchoring down that great big giant tree. It's no wonder it's all uprooted itself and fallen over. I tell you what, if I was camping up here with my hammock, I wouldn't want to put too much tension on the hammock. I'd pull the trees together, I reckon. It's a bit of an eye-opener, that. There's quite a few of them around here actually uprooted. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 there. 5, 6 just within the eye line. I'm glad we're here on a calm day, that's for sure. Oh, we're just slowly and steadily hobbling our way up the side of Sheep's Tor here. I remember when this was all moors.
Well, it still is.
Yeah, but I remember the time before when it also was. I know what you guys are thinking regarding Dan's footwear, but he does know his stuff about certain gear. And if I just zoom in on this for you a minute, I can assure you that that is actually a trail running trainer and perfectly capable of going across the moor. Now I know that there's a few of you who would have played some of the From Software games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring, And as I know you know, many of us have succumbed to the powerful might of a random rolling sheep taking you out when you're looking over a cliff edge at the nice view. And I'm telling you what, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, do you? Initiate health bar and sinister classical music. Well, me and Dan have just hobbled up to the summit of Sheep's Tor in this stunning weather. Complete surprise, we hit it really lucky. Honestly, the entire week has been absolutely ghastly weather. And last time, the very best camping spot was taken when I came up here. But tonight, it's free. So we're gonna go claim that little rocky outcrop, set up camp up there. It's gonna be the best. I'm really stoked to claim that spot and get all of the luscious views from it. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really delighted as well that Dan kind of G'd me up to come out tonight. I'd had a busy week and feeling a little bit more tired than normal. I just thought, you know what, I can't be bothered to go up on the moor this weekend, get absolutely freezing cold, soaking wet. But he talked me out of it, or into it I should say, which is just as well, because the second I'm up here, it is so worthwhile. And now I'm really excited to have this adventure. Got a cracking cookout planned, it's going to be mega. I hope Dan can make it up here with his gammy leg. It's brutal enough for me, being able-bodied. Look at that. Oh, stunning. Got the reservoir down there. I think we camped just over that way last time. We're going to hopefully get a tremendous sunset as well. Here we are, right on the apex of the hill. Absolutely mega. Sensational. A bit of wind up here, mind. Be in for an interesting night, as long as we don't get blown off the tour. A couple of other campers over there as well, look, doing exactly the same thing. Now, a few weeks back was Dan's first time wild camping as it was. And if you watched the video, it was just completely pea soup. It was misty, it was super cold, it was windy, it was pretty miserable conditions, especially for someone's first time wild camping. But here he is out again, even though he's broken his foot, gonna give it another try. How do you think this time compares, Dan?
It's just spectacular. I mean, this is just breathtaking. I literally come over the top of the hill, and I mean the reservoir on over here. I couldn't speak. I mean, he's asking me like, oh yeah, you alright? How's your foot? And I'm just thinking, wow, it would be so. I get it now, and I get what you were saying about like people not being able to camp wild and camp here, because actually to not be able to experience this is a crime.
I mean, Dartmoor's a really special place, and for that, the fact that we can come up here and have the freedom to camp, I just think is so important. I mean, we drive like an hour and a half just to get up here for a night's camp. That's how important it is to a lot of people. So it would be a terrible shame to lose this. Look at this for a 360. Now, one thing that we are though is exposed on this hilltop, this rocky outcrop. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge setting up the tents up here. The plus point is the view is absolutely sensational, but the negative is we are obviously at the mercy of the wind. I have looked up the forecast tonight and the wind is supposed to be light to maybe moderate. Now, our tents are definitely more than capable, being tunnel tents, of withstanding such conditions. But regarding cooking, we're going to have to find somewhere with a nice rocky outcrop tucked out the way, away from all the elements, so we can get our transiers cooking up our delicious feast tonight. But that's not a problem, we've got plenty of spaces where we can fully utilise it. I think main challenge really is going to be setting up the tents, don't you, Dan?
Yeah, it might be, yeah. Let's just not repeat your 6-man tent on the cliff pad last time.
I'll be down in that reservoir.
If you hadn't seen that video, you go and watch it now. It's so funny watching a grown man and get blown over a cliff.
I tell you what, I was legitimately scared for my life at one point of that. Tintagel cliffs in a 6-man tent in a hurricane condition. I think it's beyond even Camp Cookout adventure skill set. Right on, we'll get set up in a little bit. We're going to let the sun go down a little bit later and then get the tents out and see if we can wrestle them to the floor on top of this tour. Epic. This is by far the windiest conditions I've tried to set up a tent. Me and Dan have been wrestling that little OEX Hyena up just to get it there. We're right on the apex of the tour. It is pretty windy. So we're about to go and try and get his assembled now, which is going to be a two-man job. We're going to be in for quite a night tonight, I reckon. It is going to be a windy one. I don't know if we're going to get much sleep. Hopefully you don't get blasted off the top of the tour. That wouldn't be preferable. But let's see if she survives. The only other thing whilst putting this one up, which is slightly compromised, is the very top, the apex joint on this tent pole. It's weakened slightly and it's bent. Wow. You see it's got a bit of a severe apex to it there, so that's my one weak point. I'm going to heavily be relying on those industrial tent pegs I got, hopefully keeping me stationed and anchored down well. We've got a beautiful sunset going on over there, but it's still, that mist is coming in like it always does. At least we can see the colour of the sky though. It's going to be gorgeous. So I'm glad we started when we did. Dan's Vango, it's the Hydra 200, is definitely geared up better for these high wind conditions than my OEX Hyena. And the reason for that is Dan's got a cross pole configuration, whereas mine is just a two pole. It's a nice super easy setup. I mean, she seems okay at the moment, but Dan's is way more rigid and way more robust for these conditions than this one. I've got a Vango Banshee, which I kind of wish I would have brought now. I think it would have been better for these conditions, but we're in for a pretty exciting night's camp. But down here over the other side, you'll see there's a little valley. So hopefully, if I take you down there with me, I've got a little windsock on top of this GoPro to stop the worst of the wind noise, but we just pop down here just a little bit. I mean, already we're sheltered massively from that onslaught. So I think we're going to find a nice little alcove around here on the rocks to set up our trenches. Oh, peace and quiet, just like that. And do some cooking. Oh, this is way better. Really nice. So yeah, I'm sure we can find somewhere in this little valley here overlooking the reservoir to set up and do some cooking. It's going to be much needed, let me tell you. And look at this lovely little present that I got from my darling Peachy. It's a pewter hip flask, and tonight I filled it with a little tickle of another gift I got, which is coffee flavoured Kraken rum. It smells fantastic, so to your good health. Whoa. Oh, that is lovely. I don't usually like flavoured liquors, but coffee flavoured Kraken rum, dark rum, that is sensational. I packed this instead of actually bringing coffee, so, you know, get two birds stoned at once. The first star in the night sky has appeared. It's so bright, it might not actually be a star at all, it might be Venus. I want to show you guys my new cooking setup. Now, over the past few trips, I've had a couple of incidents where it's just not been ideal with the Trangia. I've cooked with my cook set, and if there isn't adequate spacing between the burner itself and whatever you're placing upon it, you get a really ineffective and frankly quite unsafe burn. So I really like cooking with a big billy can. I tried out the Trangia Mini, which is just a little, in fact Dan's got one here tonight, which he's just filling up now, which is just a mini base plate, which you could put any size saucepan on top. But again, it has its drawbacks with that thing. What I've invested in this time, this is a Trangia billy can, which is a 2.5 litre capacity, but the beauty of it is that within it, it fits the entirety of your 27 cook set. Now, I've only brought certain things with me tonight, but inside essentially it would fit absolutely everything. It would fit your windshield, which comes with a frying pan, 2 saucepans, a kettle within it, the burner itself, and the saucepan grabbers. So tonight I've only taken what I needed, which is my little enamel Mountains of Calling mug, my favourite camping mug. Within there is my bag with the Trangia burner itself, and this is the base plate windshield for my 27 cook set. So we're experimenting with a load of different setups regarding Trangia to find the ultimate system. That's the base. The Trangia burner is going to sit in there. This fantastic top literally just screws onto the top and then it's fixed. It allows the perfect amount of airflow through. It's got all of these little holes everywhere, so you can plonk that down wherever you want it. And the beauty of it is, inside here it's got these little fold out clips, and on top of there is going to fit my Hoofing great big 2.5 litre billy can. Look, it just sits in the clips absolutely perfect, and that is about as rigid as you're going to get it. So tonight's menu is going to be an Asian style hot pot. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to boil up a litre of broth, and we're going to slice up a load of ingredients super thin, dip it in there with chopsticks for 10-20 seconds. It's literally boiling all the time, bubbling away, and it'll cook everything we got. We got a lovely ribeye steak, we've got some Napa cabbage, which is Chinese leaf, we've got some scallion onions and all kinds of good things to put in there. So I'm really excited to try this out. When Trangia fuel is exceptionally cold, it's actually rather difficult to light, and it's hard to see it as well, as we all know. If I just block out my torch there, you see it's going. So now that's going, I'm going to whack on the windshield, which is much needed in these conditions. Fold out my little saucepan grips, smack the billy can on top of there, make sure it's relatively sturdy where it's at, because we don't want to spill boiling water and fuel all over us, now do we? Check out Dan's setup there. I got him proper into the adventuring spirit. Look, on the side of a mountain, he's got his little chopping board out, he's got his Trangia cooker going, saucepan's cooking away some delicious smelling stuff. It's awesome. There's really good adventurous spirit, Dan, coming up here with a busted up foot. That's cool, man.
Love it.
That's cool, man. So Asian inspired hot pot, an official branded hot pot soup base. I love the fact that they say it's broth flavour. I'm guessing that this is going to be a bone broth, a bit like a Japanese tonkotsu, which is pork bone broth. It's going to be really hearty and meaty. So that's the base. This is a dip. So I've done this one, I've made this up with soy sauce, minced garlic, red pepper flakes, sesame oil, a little bit of mirin for sweetness and honey, and yeah, mixed it all up there, and that's going to be a lovely little dipping sauce for all of my bits. What I did forget to do was bring any mushrooms, but it's not a big deal. I got enough to feed the 5,000 here as it is. Just a broth base. That in there. Oh, that is rich smelling, that is.
You inspired me to do something a little bit more adventurous tonight. So I thought what I'd do is, I did cheat a little. I made like a sauce last night, which is bolognese-esque. You know, it's plum tomatoes with like cherry tomatoes, Italian herbs, but it's got a smoked paprika and chili base.
You can smell it. Yeah, it's nice.
And then I've just chopped up some onions and garlic and a bit of like Mediterranean veg, so peppers and, you know, a bit of sweet corn and you know, I call it ifits. It's what's in the cupboard, really. And yeah, I'm just gonna make up like a little hearty, stewy, bolognese, brothy thing. But my kind of, this is where I'm getting a bit adventurous, and this is where it may go wrong, or it might be the best night of ever. Is I've made like a campfire dough bread. And that's flour, water, a bit of oil, some yeast, chai seeds, and yeah, I'm hoping that's gonna be dippable in my stewy hot potty thing.
So you're going to cook that up like a flatbread, are you?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
We will see.
Excellent. Yeah.
We will see. But you know, worst that happens is I've got noodles in case it all goes
Excellent.
completely bandy. So.
Nice to have the backup. Yeah, no, that sounds really
Had to be
adventurous.
done.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
You're smelling good, dude.
it's all right. Looks good.
Now, it's so cold up here that I'm actually having trouble boiling this litre of soup, even with the lid on and over the trangia. It's steaming, it's nice, but when I take the lid off, obviously we're losing a lot of heat from the hot pot. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bung all my ingredients in there and let them stew. So it's not quite the way we should be having a hot pot, but I just want to make sure everything's cooked. So I've got this lovely ribeye steak here, which I've just sliced up incredibly thinly. I'm going to bung in my Napa cabbage, some spring onions and my noodles, and I'm just going to let it sit with the lid on so that everything does get properly cooked. That is going to be lovely though. Get in there, you steaky bad boy, you. Okay, so big old chunks of Napa cabbage, rice vermicelli noodles. Just going to snap up some spring onions, whack them in there as well. And in the bottom here I've got a nice amount of fresh coriander. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's funny, there's actually like a gene that determines whether people like coriander or not. It's so strange how people evolve, isn't it? Bizarre. Well, the hot pot's been bubbling away now for about probably 15 minutes. Yep, all my noodles have all softened up. My ribeye steak's got a nice colour to it. You really don't need to cook any of these ingredients for very long at all. I mean, really what we should be doing is dunking them in there, but I just can't keep the heat going if I keep removing the lid, so I've had to stew it all together. But it is smelling rather delicious. Let's try a bit of meat, shall we? Come on, right, let's check out my chopstick skills. Big old chunk. I've got my sweet soy honey sesame dipping stuff as well, dipping sauce. And get that right in there. Wow, look at that, eh? Cheers, everybody. Oh, gosh. That's so indulgent on the side of a mountain. It's ridiculous. Let me show you my hot pot. Have a look. See all stewing and bubbling away in there? Absolutely handsome. It smells fabulous. Right on.
There's no nice way to do that, is there?
No. Japanese culture is rude if you don't slurp it.
Who am I to argue with something so traditional?
Indeed. Good thing about this freezing cold wind is you don't have to blow your noodles.
There's a euphemism in there somewhere, I can feel it.
Somewhere, yeah. This dipping sauce is lovely. It's really sweet and spicy, sesame based, just what you want.
Sushi next time?
It'll save us messing about with the trangia, wouldn't it? Oh, well, that hot pot certainly did the trick for a bit of central heating. It was absolutely delicious. I ate a litre of soup. No waste. So, as you can see, we are going to get battered on this cliffside tonight. So I'm just going to set up my sleeping system in the vain hope I might actually sleep in this, but I doubt it. This is certainly going to be an interesting night. Now, last time we came out up on Dartmoor, my sleeping mat, which was a Trekology one, did my absolute head in by not fully inflating. So I've got my snug pack blanket, I got my DD Dura sleeping bag, and tonight I've got myself a new sleeping mat, which is this High Peak one. It looks a little bit more robust, even though it's slightly bigger. It doesn't fall down as small as the Trekology, but you know what? If the Trekology one is going to just deflate on me, there's no point in carting it around. I'd rather have something a little bit more industrial. And by the looks of all the pictures for this thing, it's got quite a generous pillow sizing. So I'm just going to blow this thing up now. Oh! I got a couple of motivational patches on this snug pack bag as well, my Bergen. See if any of you nerds can recognise that one. Foxhound logo. And then I've got on one of its sleeves the little Legend of Zelda logo with the Master Sword going through the Z. Very cool. I don't know if that's going to come across well in the camera, but in here it just feels like the end of the world. Right, let's get this thing. Oh, I also think this here sleeping mat has potentially got like a little foot pump within it, inbuilt. So let's have a look. There's that thing there. Oh no, I don't know. Is it part whoopee cushion? I tell you what, I think that is the pump bit there. At the base it's got the non-return valve. I just pumped it full of air and it's kind of like sprung loaded itself. I think what you're supposed to do is on the flat, get your foot on it and then whoopee cushion your sleeping part. That's hilarious. I don't think I'd advise this thing for stealth camping, would you? This is a bit like doing CPR on something, on maybe a mortally injured goose. You're gonna make it, goosey. What is it? Staying alive, staying alive. Well, we are in my tent for a minute, just for the sake of being a bit social, seeming as it's rather early. What is it? It is 20 past 8. Got a little bit of coffee, crack and rum there in a moment. I've even got a little pre-mixed Jack Daniels and Coke.
Yeah, we can fortify that a bit if you like. There's actually some JD.
Oh, well, he's on the hard stuff. I've brought my little packet of cigars as well for having a little bit. But my feet are freezing, so I'm going to give these a go. I use these body warmers and hot hands warmers all the time, but I'm going to try these ones for your feet. They're activated by the air. So you've got these little adhesive pads. There's one there for the sole of each foot. Literally just give them a shake in the air and the air activates them. Now I found with the other ones they take like a good hour to actually get going. It made me wonder, is this even working or not? So before I stick them on my feet, I'm just going to give them a good mix around in the air, get my shoes off and stick them on my socks. You don't need any?
I think I'm alright. Well, I've only got one foot. But the body one last time, I've never experienced this before, and the body one last time was just like, it was the difference between it being like a passable night and being the most miserable experience of my life, actually. It was
Yeah.
the body one was really good.
You need all you can get in conditions like this. It's ridiculous.
Straight from the bottle, like a redneck, or
Always. Cheers, Dan. Cheers, everyone. That is really good. That is dangerously good.
oh, warm the old cockles.
Yeah, lovely. I can't tempt you with one of these, Daniel.
No, my friend,
No.
I'll pass this time.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that we have adequate ventilation that
you'll be alright.
you won't be getting too much secondhand smoke.
God.
Whole thing's just off.
It's like an extractor fan in here.
Yeah. Oh, very nice too. Handsome. Open up that doorway a little bit more. Check out there.
Fresh.
It's fresh. Oh yeah.
Tent's gonna be alright.
Huh? Too late. Well everyone, I can tell you that the sleeping mat is a huge improvement. It is way comfier. It's really nice. Even though it sounds like a dying goose when you're trying to inflate it. I really hope that this is the last time I see you tonight. I'm hoping that I managed to get to sleep and it's all very uneventful, which may be very boring viewing for you guys, but at least it will mean I can get some sleep tonight. The wind just picks up in these great big gusts, and then all of a sudden the tent just feels like someone's rattling the hell out of it, so I'm hoping that it doesn't pick up too much tonight. So fingers crossed. I'll see you guys in the morning and not before, and hopefully there's no hurricanes and tornadoes going to knock us off the top of this tour. Good night everyone, see you in the morning. The wind's changed direction, battering the side of the tent now. So it's pretty ropey. Not gonna get any more sleep in this. We're just gonna have to ride it out. It's 4:45 in the morning. Wind direction's changed. We're just getting absolutely battered. What I'm going to do, just in case, is I'm going to start packing stuff up inside my pack. So if we got to make a quick exit, we won't have to do much. But unfortunately, we were right. I haven't really had any sleep. It's been a pretty brutal night. Definitely need to upgrade my tent for better performance in windy conditions if I'm going to be doing this in this weather. What's worse is I think that this wind is also carrying a bit of rain outside as well. It looks like all the grass is damp outside the vestibule of the tent. It's just going to be absolutely miserable, man. Ah dear. I've just been around the outside of the tent. It is like ice cold wind mixed with mizzle and lots of it, so it's not a pleasant environment to be in out there. What I've actually done is got my insulated snug pack blanket and I've wrapped it around my torso, stuffed that underneath my insulated trousers and my jacket just in a bid if we have got a dash, to try and give myself every opportunity to stay warm as possible. That wind cuts through you so brutally that we've got, even if we packed everything down, we'd still have an hour walk back to the car. So it's a little bit hairy right now, and I don't know if the wind's going to die down by the time sunrise comes up. So yeah, interesting times. Unfortunately, the worst has happened. I've just checked the forecast. Wind speed over the next 2 hours is just going up and up and up. Gusts are going up as well. Temperature is plummeting. The wind chill factor is -4. We're gonna have to call it. It's gonna really suck. Unfortunately, I can't film while we're gonna be taking down the tents because we're gonna have our hands full as it is. It's literally gonna be a case of both of us hands on, one tent at a time, get the pegs out, roll it up, bundle it up as best as possible, smash it in the bag and just get the hell off of this hill, because it's getting a bit sketchy, to be fair. Really not looking forward to it. Out there in that wind, it is brutally cold. So hopefully all goes well and we'll see you very frostbitten on the descent down, which is going to be a challenge in itself in the pitch black with Dan with his poorly foot. We got ourselves into a situation here. Alright. Miraculously we've done it. We've managed to pack up our tents and all of our ground sheets and pegs and everything. Got them back in our pack in the middle of this wind. Absolutely insane. Just behind us there to the east we've got the sunrise just giving us a bit of red glow on the horizon, which hopefully as we journey on down we'll get a little bit more light. But the second you turn side on to the wind wearing these big packs, it just takes you like a sail. So we're going to have to be really careful descending down from here. It's going to be a real challenge. It is just cutting through me like a knife. Dan's just clipping up his tent to his bag and then we're getting the hell out of here. You alright, mate? Looking good. Whoa. Look, that's how strong it is. It's taking my head torch away. Grab it, mate.
Oh, that's better.
Just out the wind is so much different. Steady as we go.
Yeah, it's all good, mate. It's all good, don't worry.
Okay. Now we got a navigation challenge because it's pitch black and we got to find a way across the moor back to Burrator Reservoir. It's much easier said than done. Right on. All good. Oh. Just getting the first light of dawn. That I think by the time we get to the woods it's going to be really nice. And we're at the base of the tor now, just about to rejoin the trees and get through there, through the arboretum and find the car. You could just about see, I think I've actually just gone too far, but I could spot a second ago the little rocky outcrop way up the top where we were set up. That was a pretty hairy evacuation this morning, let me tell you. Wrestling those tents, it took a lot of effort and energy, but when the winds get up like that, as you've seen on the channel before, your tent just acts like a gigantic sail and can just pull you off of stuff. Watch it. Luckily we had two of us on hand to fold it all up safely, but yeah, a pretty hairy ordeal. All I got to do now is find this gateway in the dark, get back on the road through the forest. Where is that thing? We were only here about 12 or so hours ago, but things look very different in different light. It's easy to get lost. Here we go. Well, there's a bit of a lesson learned during this camping trip, and that is if you're gonna camp on the very apex of any of the tours, especially on Dartmoor, pretty much anywhere high altitude where there is just zero shelter from the elements, you've got to check the forecast. My little OEX Hyena 200 was not man enough for those 30-35 mile per hour gusts right on the top of that thing. And there was just nowhere for us to gain any kind of shelter whatsoever. And the little dip just the other side of the rocky outcrop was perfectly fine, you know, it was calm as a mill pool, no problem. Just if you want the view at the top and if you want a good night's sleep, which is really important, especially if you're doing a multi-day hike across the moor. You don't want to feel completely trashed the next day. I'd be surprised if I had about half an hour's actual sleep last night. It's just too noisy in the wind, even for me who finds peace and solace in the sounds of nature. I'll certainly bear that in mind for next time. utilize spaces where you can find a bit of shelter and give yourself a nice comfy night's sleep if you can, even if it means sacrificing the view. We've made it back to the car park. This is the bit that always gets me really nervous, having been in the middle of nowhere. Very secluded car park, away especially from any street lights or many passing people. And you do get the old sickening feeling in your stomach as to, oh, am I going to get broken into or vandalized? So let's just have a quick walk around the old girl. See if all my windows are intact. Oh, it does look good. Okay, well, I've still got my windows and my wheels. Excellent. She's still locked. I think we got away with that, thank goodness. Oh, it's gonna feel really good to take this big pack off. Oh, weight of the world off your shoulders, let me tell you. Oh, that's good. Oh, well, now we're down in the nice lower levels and the calm away from the wind. I got to get some of these layers off. I'm now absolutely boiling. It's just too many extremes all the time, you know. You're either freezing your stuff off or you're boiling alive. Oh, well done. That's 2 times out in the wild for wild camping, and both of them have been somewhat eventful, haven't they?
I like an adventure, mate. This
Yeah.
is what I'm all about.
It is an adventure. You can never predict what's going to happen. That was a pretty wild one. I think I learned a lot of lessons during that time. Well, thanks for joining us once again on Camp Cookout Adventures. Be sure to also check out Dan's channel at Approachable Active, and I hope to see you guys real soon for another camping outing. Cheers then.